different types of evolution over the last 10 years. But every time I really invested in myself and made joy for my life a priority, it's when I look my best. It's when people were like, there's something, girl, you look good. Did you lose weight? No, honey, I didn't. I didn't change anything but the joy factor in my life. And joy just looks really good on me. In my 20s, I was very mean to me. Very harsh, judgmental, very, you should be this, you should be that, look at your peers, blah, blah, blah. And it's hard to care for yourself really well if you're grading yourself constantly. So I just didn't take good care of me at all, mentally, emotionally, physically, hell, even spiritually. But in my 30s, I was like, look, we in this thing together. So I'm the voice I hear first, I'm the voice I hear last, I'm the only one that has this complete journey with me, and so I better get used to loving me really well, which has allowed me to advocate for myself far better than I used to. Them yeses are yeses, but them no's are no's. And I don't apologize or explain because I don't have to. I deserve the best that I have to offer, and so I give myself my best. I love being my mom's friend. I love knowing my mom as friend, and always as mommy, right? Big old baby. I'm gonna climb on her like I'm a toddler. I'm not, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But the relationship we have now as friends is really, really sweet. And it's because part of that is because some of that process has been hard. But the place we're in now is like really beautiful. So like my mom, my family in general, the women in my family in particular that I'm very close to are my mom, my aunt, and my cousin Amanda. And just knowing them more as people, not just as my family members, which I know may sound weird, but like my cousin is a fully realized adult woman. And so knowing that side of her, and not just my baby girl, because she's always been my baby, is beautiful. Laughing and joking and being silly and relating to my auntie is just beautiful. It blesses me. Like my best days are like, if I get to talk to all three of them in one day, it don't happen often. But when it happens, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like my soul is made well. Definitely want to continue to cultivate like a really deep and sweet relationship with my goddaughter. Parker Elizabeth Mitchford is just this ball of energy and sass and beauty, and you talk about somebody with some joy, that baby be cracking up, just laughing at life. She is fiercely independent. She is beautifully brilliant. She is loving, and she has chosen to love you, because if she don't rock with you, she don't rock with you. Like the light of my day is hearing, hi Chi-Chi. Or she say, hey boo, which is the most hilarious thing ever, to have a toddler tell someone, hey boo, well hey boo to you too. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad you can't ask me for things for real yet, because I would be broke. She has changed my life, right? I don't know if I've really talked to a lot of people about this, but she was the impetus for me going back to school. I want to create a world worthy of her beauty and her grace and her love. And I knew that getting a degree would make it a little bit easier, right? Didn't change who I was. I don't really do a whole lot different right now than I did before graduating from undergrad. The 2 classes I took to graduate from undergrad had nothing to do with life for real for me. But having that piece of paper did put me in a better position to do some things. One of them being going to grad school, right? So I'm at grad school now, and this is changing the trajectory of my life, and she was the catalyst. My 4 months from 40, she turned 2 years old, and just seeing how much she has grown and changed and how much she knows, the girl is gonna give us a run for our money. But it has expanded the love in my heart in a way that I didn't know it could be expanded. She's definitely one of my favorite people in the world. I have 2 brothers that I'm not very close to. I love them. I pray they know that I love them. For me, in particular, it's kind of sad to have these really significant, beautiful relationships with men and to not have it with my brothers. So I want that with them. I want to develop a deeper relationship with my community. I really want to be known for how I've invested in us as a people, and how I have wielded my influence and my ability to really, really impact the lives of those that I say I care about. I went through a season, like an extended season of every couple of years, a group of friends cycling out and a group of friends cycling in. And it was like, what is happening? And it was interesting. I never was alone, like as one was cycling out, one was building up. So there was always like this, almost like a replacement process, like getting a new set of tires. It's like a friendship rotation. And I used to be really hurt by that. And then somewhere in my mid-30s, I realized that it was really a gift from God. Because as I grew and I evolved, it opened the space for people who could love me better than those who loved me at those moments where I was closed off in a sense, or hiding parts of myself, or in dark places. And so what happened, it's like I went from being like tolerated to being loved. First I was tolerated, I was accepted in that next group. You know, I maybe was affirmed or encouraged in the next group, but now I am deeply loved. And this has been the most consistent set of people. Some of my most significant relationships have taken place in the last 4 or 5 years. And we look back and it's like, what happened? Like, where's the shift? And I realized the shift was honestly with me. And to be very clear, it was not the fault of the people that left, right? I understand why they left, because what I presented to them wasn't real. And then they chose that the real life wasn't for them. And I took that decision away from them initially. So then I'm hurt as I present the real me, and they're like, but that's not what I'm about, because I lied to them basically for so long. And so you have every right to leave. You wouldn't have opted in had I been honest up front. Or maybe you would have opted in, but it would have evolved differently. So I took that choice from them by not just being genuine. Now I be out here balls to the wall like, this me. You like me or you don't. Cool. The only choice you get though is whether or not you opt into me or opt out, but I'm not changing. For you, if I'm changing, it's because I see a need to change and I want to be better in whatever way that is. I know that you walking away doesn't change my value, nor does it make you a bad person. The same way like me walking away from something, I'm like, you know, this just isn't for me. And that's the mature thing to do versus staying somewhere where you're gonna be stifled or unhappy, or staying somewhere and trying to change somebody. That's like herding cats. Who wants to herd cats, right? So there has been a peace for those that have come and gone in this season, while it has not been many, because I recognize you're doing what's best for you, and I can't begrudge you doing what's best for you when I'm definitely gonna do what's best for me. No one talks to you about this season in life you come to where you start raising your parents. And it's very real, because they're still your parents. And you still love them and respect them as your parents, because that's who they are. And I still go to my mom when I have a big win. I go to my mom when I have a big loss. I go to my mom when I'm scared. Like, everything you went to your parents for when you were little, you still do it, right? Or at least I do. But in addition, she comes to me, and that's different. And it's beautiful. It's a place of intimate trust. And, you know, I tease her like, it's your ROI, it's your return on investment, right? I think one of the things that has honestly helped, I have learned my mom's love language, right? And so, and her love language is gifts, and she's gonna be mad at me for saying that too. No, mommy, it does not mean you're materialistic. It just means you like nice things, and you do. You like thoughtful things. That's all I'm saying, sis. Since December of 2017, I pretty much bought her a gift every month of some kind. Big, small, doesn't matter. Gift card. I've gotten some really beautiful, like, creative things for like holidays and birthdays and stuff. And I think it's just filling her love tank, right? And so it makes some of this other stuff easier for her and for me. And not that she made it hard, but I don't know if anyone has ever been able to invest in my mom like this. And so being privileged to do that, and to make it a point to say, I want to love her really well. And doing it, I've seen the ways in which she has flourished because of it. So that has been really, really sweet. She came to visit me in October. It's been an interesting year. And I knew, it's funny, like, I knew she felt a way when she made the suggestion that she fly down here to see me. My mama don't travel. That is not her jam. That is mine. But she's very adamant about me not traveling right now. I respect it. So she came to see me. And the minute I hugged her, like, I just cried, because it was this weight that is lifted, and there's this peace that she evokes. And, you know, somebody did a question on Facebook. It's a young lady who was adopted. She said, I've never met my mom. She said, what does it feel like to hug your mother? And I was like, hugging my mom is what everything good in the world feels like in a given moment. It is being wrapped in comfort and safety lavished with love and peace, comforted in a way that just doesn't exist anywhere else. And I was like, this is what wholeness feels like. And so knowing that even at almost 40, I can still find wholeness in the arms of my mom is a really great gift. Well, at the same time, raising her when I got to, because Deborah don't be listening, right? Deborah ain't be out here just not listening. And she told me that when she was like, I don't really listen to you. But she said, I'll go back and try it later, and then I'll let you know when you're right. So there was this lightheartedness, this like fun, silliness, and joy. She's always my mommy, but she's definitely my friend. I couldn't have imagined having this pandemic 10 years ago, right? Or even 15 years ago. Like, or even 5 years ago. There are some just different apps that allow us to still feel connected. So Marco Polo, I definitely use FaceTime. I'm addicted to Clubhouse at this point. I've been on Clubhouse probably for like not even 2 weeks. So it's funny to be like, I'm addicted because, well, I'm addicted. And what happened, there was a Clubhouse room I got into that ended up having just some really cool people in it, and we literally come back together every single day. It is like we are a little family. Like, we have roles and we joke about stuff and we speak life and we're holding each other accountable. So like, there's one of the guys who's applying to a PhD program. So I'd be like, did you upload your stuff? Did you get your call back? Did you find your things? There's a young lady who was working on a paper that's due today. So I'm gonna check in with her again today if she shows up in the club. We've had these really great connections, and we're literally like planning, once it's safe, once the world opens up, to get together and hang out. My love language is quality time. So it has been a challenge, and I have felt really alone at certain points, and my depression has run amok at certain points, but there is beauty in still being able to sit with myself, even in the dark spaces, and live off the power of my own light. My perfect romantic relationship: being with a person who supports growth, who doesn't want to just let things be the same or stagnant, who doesn't see it as a challenge, but someone who also has an area where they can grow. I love accountability. I love mutual support. I love seeing people accomplish goals and dreams. And so my perfect relationship would be with someone who also has these goals and dreams, and not that they can't accomplish them on their own, but the fact that we can support each other gets us both to where we're trying to go, healthy and faster. So just having that place to land softly. I think it's really important for people to have that, like in their home, to say, if I gotta just wild out in the world, when I come home, I want to just be able to almost sag into my body and land softly and know that it's enough. Absolutely must travel. Like, have flight credits will travel. Because I want to live in other parts of the world for short periods of time. I don't want to permanently live anywhere, at least not at this point. But I want to do 3 to 12 month stints in different places to do the work that I want to do, because I want to do it in the world. So somebody who is open to that, who desires that, who can see their own purpose in that as well. When we talk about relationships, in particular from a Christian perspective, right? It's always the wife is supposed to be a helpmeet, and there's all this focus on what she's supposed to provide for her husband and give to her husband. And when it comes to the other way, the things that a husband is supposed to provide to the wife are like physical things, like security, food, shelter, comfort, safety. I want to come together in a relationship where we actually already both have what we need, and we thrive because we want to be together, right? Because it's hard to thrive if your needs aren't met. And I think it's really hard to place the meeting of your needs in the hands of another person. So if we can both be at a place where we come together and our needs are met, we can thrive off of the overflow in both of our lives. I want a relationship that, while it can handle hard times, right? Things happen. We know that. While it can support a break, the foundation of it is that we've come together whole. And because we've come together whole, we have an even stronger foundation, and we can build something beautiful on top of it. I want a love that's inspiring, to me first, but then to other people that see it. Someone who's excited about me thriving as myself and not trying to change it or to minimize it or who's scared of it, but who's like, baby, shine. And I want to give that back to them.